All right, welcome back to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program, Targeted Individual Experience. I'm going to share just a small clip of this video. I talk about Bobby Hemmett a lot. Why? Because, when I started listening to Bobby Hemmett, this was probably about after a few years of being targeted. And I realized not only did Bobby Hemmett was a target individual, Dr. Amos Wilson was a target individual, Dr. Francis Cress Weston, all of our brilliant scholars, right? All of our brilliant people are targeted individuals. Now, some will not know this because if they are used by the white supremacists, the greater white society, to benefit white people in terms of their invention, their creations, their designs, or what have you. I made a post a couple of weeks ago that says, black people create all the inventions, but white people have all the patterns, right? Understand what that means. Meaning they use our brilliance, our creation, our invention to benefit them. Yeah, those individuals may get some benefit in terms of a high pay, they get to live, a comfortable life, what have you, but they will never be able to create something, to start a company, right, and have it become successful to benefit, and then use the revenue from that business to benefit black people. They will never be able to do it. It's the way white supremacists operate. We see this over and over, particularly over the past couple of years when you see wealthy black men, Michael Jackson, Prince, P. Diddy, who else? These people are being set up, right? They've been manipulated, drugs, set up, and then later on, when they reach some form of consciousness, include also Michael Jamal Warner, when they start to reach some form of consciousness, couple that with the fact that they have money, okay? Some of them are wealthy, right? So they have money, and the white supremacists will not allow that because they start to understand that when black people gain consciousness, they're going to do things to benefit not only themselves, but their people. And hear the sirens, and that would not be they cannot allow that to happen. So what they've been doing is also on the ground level, okay, is seeking out those within our communities and using us to do it, to manipulate them, to deceive them, to weaponize each other, to weaponize them also, using all kinds of methods and tactics. Now, one thing I love about this brother and is the fact that not only is he knowledgeable, right? And again, minds like his are very rare. The ability to tap into the information, and he said it. He says, there are some of us who, we may not be able to read a book, but we can sure look through a book and pick out the most important stuff. All right, and this is what I've been trained myself to do, because I cannot read the entire book because of what they've done to me. And they know this. But they also know that when they attack me in a particular manner, that somehow it not only motivates me, but it emboldens me and it empowers me. And the fact that I can pull information through the sources that I have, that I've researched, without having to read an entire book, is something that they try to suppress. And they'll continue to try to do that, right? Using various tactics and methods. But I'm very keen in terms of what it is that they do, because I study what it is that they do, and I study them. And I say them meaning that those within the secret society, religious fanatics, the white supremacists, the Negropeans and the Sambos who have a white supremacist mentality, which is the vast majority of us, right? Because we believe in this Christian bullshit, this religion bullshit that they give us, while they use our science to manipulate us. And this is why I'm going to play this part of this video. Listen.
So that's been kicking pretty good. So made this love connection, and a whole lot of powerful things started happening. I'm telling the story when certain spirits, certain energies come together. When they certain and the whole atmosphere changes. And we'll go into some of this particular science to let you know how these things happen. There's a lot of things that happen around you that over the thousands.
Understand, even though he's talking about spiritual things, he understand that in the African concept of spirituality is actually science. As one of another brilliant black scholars, Professor Habakaba. I can never really get his name right. But I learned about this brother from a video that he did on ancient Kemet. Right, he was a teacher. I have a couple of his books, and he's the thing that I love about him is that what he says. He says for the African people, for the African-minded people, or for the Afrocentric-minded people who understand what African spirituality is, understand that that's a word that we coined, right? The word spirit, meaning to breathe, to take in air, oxygen, right? That is the original meaning of the word spirit. It has nothing to do with some divine person in the sky who you call your sky daddy. But African spirituality is you and what is within you, your consciousness, elevating your consciousness. That not only that, but you begin to have a broader conscious level, to have that higher intelligence as our ancestors had, right? And we still have today, right? Some of the smartest people in the world today are African people, despite what those in the West want to tell you. Okay? African people are the smartest people. It's just that we've been under this colonial rule to disempower us. Right? It's the reason why we have not advanced at a much greater as a much greater people in terms of within the society, in terms of development within the continent of Africa and those nations in Africa, because the resources are being stolen from us, and they use religion to manipulate us and control us. But not also religion, but technology, the sciences. Okay? So he says, Professor Habakkuk, that spirituality is unseen science. Right? So what that means is that when you have a concept in your mind, you're going to study, create, develop, as Africans did, develop math, science, philosophy, agriculture, using and your mind, your mind, having a higher consciousness and creating things and developing things to try to understand nature, because within nature is where we develop math, chemistry, science. Look at chemistry, for example. You look at plants. Plants is used to what? Create colors, all these different things, right? You look at how they build the pyramid, in which, like I said before, which they cannot even build today. So what the white Europeans have done is use our technology, what they've stolen from us, right? Hid it from us, and they're practicing our spirituality, which is seen science, while giving us religion. Okay, so spirituality is unseen science. Science is seen spirituality, meaning that our spirituality, when we put into action, we create things out of it. That's true spirituality. Not some worship in the sky daddy, thinking that you're connected with some God. We're all part of nature, and nature is part of us. Within nature, you're always going to have duality. Okay? Particularly when it comes to us as human beings, any mammal, insect, or what have you. Right? In order to create life, we need the feminine and the masculine. But you got to understand the mindset of the people who gave you religion in order for you to see through their bullshit. All right? Let me continue.
Thousands of years we have lost the science too, and there's certain things that happen we don't know why. But apparently when certain energies come together, whenever we would start to bumping and grinding, it would rain and thunder and lightning every time. So much, I guess because of the newness of the relationship, until the root started.
Let's go.
Until the white folks brought out his biography in 1997. Is but believe it or not, the modern father, which would be the late 1800s, is also a black man by the name of Pascal. I guess because of the newness of the relationship until the roof started leaking. And by Hurricane Gene, the whole ceiling fell in, doggone it. But it's and I say that it's in a joking manner, but in so many words, it's also a testimony of how much power people can have, especially conscious people. We're going to go into some of those particular sciences at this particular time, and we are so late in the game. Now, white folks have been into this esoteric teachings since the late 1800s. And believe it or not, the father of what we call Western esoteric teachings as far as modern, and I'll give you a rundown on the history of this stuff, all starting from ancient Africa, ancient Kemet, ancient mystery system. But believe it or not, the modern father, which would be the late 1800s, is also a black man by the name of Pascal Beverly Randolph. Pascal Beverly Randolph. And he died in the late 1800s. And a lot of his particular papers was usurped by white occult groups or white secret societies. And later on, this became a spinoff for what they call a modern esoteric sciences. We'll get into those particular things. And this particular guy used to be a soothsayer, a spiritual seer for Abraham Lincoln. Traveled all over the world, came out of a Haitian voodoo group out of Haiti, was known all over the world. So much respected until, as far as they respected now, until the white folks brought out his biography in 1997. It's State University of New York, SUNY, Pascal Beverly Randolph. And basically, he brought back a lot of this particular information. But in so many words, the late 1800s, Europeans have been into our science. Meanwhile, teaching you religion and got you all scared to even read the right way. You see, it got you on lockdown. And now here it is, we are we talking about almost 130 years later from the resurgence of this ancient information that basically also was preserved in Europe after the Moors. The Moors ruled in Europe and basically dominated the European landscape for 700 years and taught them basically everything, even how to dress.
Okay. I understand that. That's part of history that they don't want to teach us. This is, like I said, when I talked about years ago, how they were trying to control the internet in terms of access to information. They wanted to have paywalls when it comes to certain information. This is why they try so hard to shut down the Internet Archive website, because you can go on that website and you can find some of these books. Okay, this is the a site which archive the internet, because like I said, we know shit changes. We know how I talk about the video I was watching with Dr. Peter Breggin. He was talking about how they were experimenting on black civil rights leaders in the 1960s and 70s. And when I posted that video on YouTube, within a couple of days later, they removed that video. The next video I posted was about dark psychological manipulation, dark psychology. I posted that video on Facebook, and then within a couple of days also, they remove the video from YouTube, right? This is what they do. And the reason why I posted that dark psychology book is because when I was looking into their mindset, their personality traits, they didn't like that at all. See, they can sit in their high office and create all these labels for you and I, right? All these labels for you and I, but they are conducting non-consensual human experimentation. They are cutting up and removing parts of people's brains just to see what that person, how that person is going to operate as a human being with part of his brain or her brain missing. Electroshocking people in their brains, right? But these people don't consider themselves as being mentally ill. when they are the sickest amongst us. You look at the elites. These people are bent on trying to be the first trillionaire. And so the AI, which they've been developing, and firing tens of thousands of their employees, right, in the race to be the first trillionaire. And what do these so-called elites look like? Do they look black? Particularly those here in the West who are into the technological field? No, these are white, racist, bigoted psychopaths. And they didn't all start out that way. Right? They didn't all start out that way. But understand that when you elevate within a business, and your business is elevated, they will come to you. They will come to you and try to manipulate you. Right? Yeah, they will promise you your business to grow, what have you. But there's always a price that you got to pay to them. Understand that. So, what Bobby is saying, okay, is here these people have been studying our spirituality, our spiritual system. I said our here, the New York Predator Department, the white supremacists. Yes, our spiritual system. Right? This is what they fear. They fear us coming into a consciousness and taking back what belongs to us. That's what they fear. This is why you see them engaging in covert operations, particularly in Africa right now. Because African leaders and African people, particularly the young people, are waking up. See, the old gods, they're dying out. The young people are realizing that when they see other African nations developing under the right leadership, without religion, while their leaders who are very religious, keeping their country in poverty, letting the West rob them of their resources, of their future. See, they don't want us to wake up. Because they have not been good leaders, okay? They have not been good leaders. And this is what they fear. They fear good leaders. You need to understand their mindset, their personality traits, and what it is that they'll do. They will stop at nothing to hold on to their power. They will stop at nothing to manipulate you and I. They will do whatever it takes to prevent any one of us, or all of us, from raising our consciousness, from coming into our Christ mind. Right? That's why they give you Christ outside of you, when they understand that Christ is within you.
The famous suit coat that you think is European comes from Africa. Nigeria. The same suit coat, the business coat. All of the royal red coats that you see as far as their army uniforms with all of the brass buttons and all of that stuff is Moorish in origin.
Right. So I'm going to end it right there, and I'm also say is that they don't really create anything. They steal from us, and particularly with technology that they use. Like I talk about, how many of us are microchipped and don't even know it. How many of our brilliant people are chipped and don't even know it, while stealing information from their minds. Right? So this is why, at times, like I know I'm compromised. So I'm not going to join any organization that's trying to empower black people, because I'm an unwitting spy. You understand? And this is why, like I said, they doing what they do to me in particular, to my brother, to other TIs. Our targeting are tailored specifically for each other, for each of us, I should say. All right, and the same thing is going to happen in this society going forward. I'm not saying this because I have some vision of it. I'm saying it because you look at the information, what it is that they're trying to do, how they're trying to achieve it. All right, because ultimately it's also part of the depopulation agenda, but not many of us can even see that. Right? That you have people in position of power who are wealthy, right, who are trying to prolong their life and shorten our lives. Right? Who always want to remain in power. You know, I say you go look at the movie Doom. You know, they have these women who are ruling from behind, right? These women who have these special abilities. And it's not that they have special abilities. It's that they have insight. They have knowledge. Okay? and that's important. They know how to manipulate our minds. Even though they make it seem like it's magical situation. But like I say, go look at a hypnotist. Go look at who they call a mentalist. Their ability, right, to manipulate our minds. Right? Now imagine a whole army of these people within the society are sent out to do to us what we see that hypnotists do on television. Can you imagine that? Anyhow, talk to you guys on the next video.